Hello YouTube, this is Eazy Eeb. Welcome to First Reaction, and this is my Heroes Reborn Season 1, I think it's only one season, Episode 9, Sunday Bloody Sunday review. So let's start with the characters and what happened in the story. Carlos is with James, the ex-cop, who is an Evo, and Carlos is not an Evo, and they're there to save the pastor, I forget his name, and his nephew. So they get into the prison camp, and James, the usual bounty hunter, brings Carlos in as an Evo. And Carlos, right before he is told to meet the director, he beats up one of the guards and disguises himself as one of the guards. And he goes out into the field where there are a bunch of Evos out there, but somehow, for some reason, the Evos are acting strangely. They are in a hallucinatory state, as we see from his nephew Jose, and so they're being mind controlled somehow, and they're always listening to what the director has to say from the speaker. James is found out due to some rule changes, and double checking, James is found out to be an Evo, and he is captured and brought to the director, and we learn the director to be Matt Parkman, who is a bad guy in this new Heroes series. Now Matt Parkman finds out James' weakness, which he hates himself for being an Evo, and of course leads himself to, coerced suicide, and James does die, or seemingly dies, because we see the blood from Carlos' point of view. Carlos, after figuring out what's happened to the Evos, he tries to escape the clutches of the guards, but the guards get to him. He is not an Evo himself, so he does not have any special abilities. He is tased and brought to the director. When we find out it's Matt, Matt reads his mind and takes him back to his war days with Farah, who is the one that actually saved their lives, but we don't get into that yet. We just see the beginning of that. So Carlos is captured in the hands of Matt Parkman. We see Taylor. Taylor is Erica's daughter, and Taylor meets the Hero Truther. Now, the Hero Truthers, they're looking for Micah. If you remember, Micah from the original Hero series was a boy, and he was able to manipulate electronics. But as we know from the Haitian, who is not dead, Micah has been which I presume is one of the butterflies. Micah has been captured by Erica. And the Haitian, who is not dead, tells Taylor and recruits her into their group, and they're going to try to find where Micah is, who is the leader of the Hero Truthers. He has grown up, and only Taylor knows where they're being held, and he is being held, of course, at the same Evo camp that Carlos is at. So they're going to go over there in the next episode. We find out more about Joanne. Joanne finds Emily, Nathan / Tommy's girlfriend, and uses Emily to lure Tommy, and Tommy goes there, and Casper is already there. Casper tries to use the penny to erase Joanne's thoughts, but I don't know why it doesn't happen. She does pick up a penny at some point, but the memory is not erased, so if someone could explain that in the comments, please let me know. Anyway, and then Luke shows up with Melina, Tommy's sister, and Luke tries to talk her out of killing more Evos, and she doesn't. She'd rather kill one more and die in the process and be with her son than, not kill anyone. And as Joanne shoots Emily, and Luke is using his flamethrower to stop, and presumably in this case would kill Joanne, Nathan, who does not want Emily to die, uses his time-stopping abilities, which he uses for the first time, and teleports himself and Emily away from there. Now, Joanne escapes, but meets one of, I forget his name, something Prime, Erica's henchman, and now we think that she has joined Erica. Luke ran away somewhere. He's no longer with Melina, but Melina does finally meet Noah Bennett at the very end. So let's go backwards a little bit and go to Noah Bennett. Noah Bennett was with Nathan earlier, and Nathan saves Emily, brings her back to the hospital, and when he brings her back, they find out that they have been figured out and the bad guys know where they are. So as Nathan tries to teleport Noah out of there, he couldn't use his powers, which means that Phoebe, Evil Quinn's sister, is there with them, and Evil Quinn reveals himself to be evil, and Noah says, it must be the butterflies, obviously, and he said this before, and he knows this because Quinn died in the other timeline, and the butterflies has turned Quinn evil. He figures this out, and they take Tommy with them. So Noah is now having to find Tommy and has lost both twins again. But as luck would have it, Melina was there with Luke, and nobody knows about this except for Luke, but Luke is gone. But Noah finds Melina, so we're going to see Noah and Melina, they're going to find Tommy, and Taylor with the Hero Truthers are going to save Carlos and all the other Evos that are under Matt Parkman's hands. So we see at the end Erica, she's going to try to lure Tommy, and she has a different strategy this time. She's not going to keep Tommy imprisoned like she did Hero, but she's going to try to turn him actually to her side, and so we'll see what that goes and how that goes. Tommy has been a little bit of a volatile kid, so she might be able to turn him. We'll see what he says. I don't think it will because it's Heroes, but we'll see how that goes. Finally, we find that Miko is 8,000 years in the future, in a desolated future. It's all desert, probably because of the solar flares that have destroyed the Earth during the pole shift. We see 8,000 years, and she finds a building in the distance. Now, we don't know what that building is, but we do know that Miko is still alive, just she is transported to the future. Is it because of the video game, or is it because of the butterflies maybe it's Hero's doing and accidentally sent her to the future? We don't know. We'll see how that goes. So my thoughts on the episode. I thought it was a good episode. It was not, it was better than some of the episodes of this season, and I think it is one of the better episodes of the season because things actually happened. It was the right pace, and it didn't reveal too much. Nothing was forced, like some things were forced. I felt like in the previous two episodes, the June 13th, it was a little forced. Oh, they're Petrellis, and of course they have powers, and of course the two powers are one very, very strong. Okay, it turns out both twins are very, very strong, and that was a little forced that they had to be Petrellis, but I mean they were Claire's children. But this episode is more organic, and I felt like it was better. It made sense better chronologically, and it wasn't too cheesy, and it was more Hero-esque, and I liked it this way. It's hard for me to explain how it was, but a lot of things happened in the episode. It was not slow, and we do see a lot of people using their powers, which is always nice. So I do have a few questions for you guys that I want you to discuss and answer in the comments below. Let me know what you think, and I'll tell you a little bit of what I think. Miko is 8,000 years in the future. So what does this mean? How did she get there? What do you think brought her there? And which future is this future? Is it the one that Erica wants, or is it the inevitable future that even though they try to save the world, it's going to happen anyway? And what was that building? What's in that building she saw? Even if it was Erica's building, how come it's 8,000 years in the future? Is it because that's where Erica's sending all her things to the future? Which would make sense of how Miko got there and she was just one of those things that was brought there. Or is it a future that is way more distant into the future and she's going to find nothing in there except for, dead people and stuff like that? So tell me what you think about what's going to happen in the next episode, what you thought about this episode, and what do you think is up with Miko being 8,000 years in the future. Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching First Reaction, Heroes Reborn. I hope to see you next week. Okay, subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you again soon. Peace.